Hi guys, my name is Becca Salazar and I did my project over the digestive system. Today I made a flip book basically that tracks the way food enters and exits the body. So we're just going to go through it. This is the cover. It says Digestive System Flip Book. And so we start in the oral cavity, which is composed of the hard palate, the parotid, sublingual, and submandibular salivary glands that release salivary amylase, the tongue, the teeth, and there's also things here like the uvula, which are more of the accessory organs. Okay, and so I have a little cherry that enters, and the text says, when food enters the oral cavity, the digestive process starts. The function of teeth is mastication. The intrinsic salivary glands are at work to produce saliva, which contains lingual lipase. The enzyme that starts digestion, the tongue is used for help swallowing and allows for taste. This is the phase of swallowing that is voluntary. And so, next page. As you can see, the cherry is gone, and we have moved to the esophagus. We have organs here that include the larynx, the laryngopharynx, supraesophageal sphincter, esophagus, epiglottis, larynx, and trachea. And the text says, what was a beautiful cherry is now bolus. Soft palate and uvula elevate and close off the nasopharynx. The epiglottis closes over the laryngeal opening. Basically, so that means that your diaphragm is cut off so you don't enter any food into your lungs. The pharynx has important function of protecting against abrasion. So if you get punched in the throat, you'll be okay. Supraesophageal sphincter closes when bolus enters the esophagus. The esophagus moves the bolus along to the stomach by peristaltic contractions. So that's the closing of the muscles to push it down. Now our bolus has entered through the stomach. Just so you know, the 4 regions of the stomach include the cardia, fundus, body, and pylorus. And the text says, once bolus is in the stomach, mechanical and chemical digestion takes place. Ingested materials spend about 2 to 6 hours here. Gastric folds allow the stomach to expand when filled with food. The 3 smooth muscle layers of the stomach allow for the churning and the blending. When bolus is mixed with the gastric secretions, it becomes chyme. Pyloric sphincter opens, a small amount of chyme enters the duodenum, and it does that repeatedly. And I forgot to mention the organs here are going to be the esophagus because that's where it enters the stomach. Spleen, stomach, pyloric sphincter, liver, bile ducts, gallbladder, and then the duodenum, which is the start of the small intestine. Next page. We've now entered the small intestine, which is composed of the duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. This is where more enzymatic and mechanical processes occur. Bile is produced by the liver and is stored in the gallbladder. Bile is discharged into the duodenum by a bile duct. This assists in the breakdown of fats. Digestive enzymes from the pancreas enter the duodenum, and the duodenum contains Brunner glands which secrete mucus. And the organs here are going to be the duodenum, the liver, the spleen, the stomach, the bile ducts, the gallbladder, and the duodenum. As mentioned before, the next part of the small intestine is the jejunum, which is primary region for chemical digestion and nutrient absorption. The ileum contains the ileocecal valve, which controls the entry of materials into the large intestine and prevents backflow. And the organs here are going to be the jejunum, duodenum, ileum, ileocecal junction. We have reached the large intestine. Its main function includes absorption of water, electrolytes from remaining digested material, compacting chyme into feces, and stores feces until elimination via defecation. Chyme first entered the cecum, then traveled through the 4 segments of the colon. And that can be seen here, so we entered here, the cecum, and traveled up the ascending colon over to the transverse colon. Then you go down the descending colon, and then you end up in the sigmoid colon. Also on the way you pass the variform appendix, which is not completely known its function, but it may hold like good bacteria. Okay. The rectum and anal canal are part of the large intestine. The rectum is the muscular tube that expands to store feces and contains rectal valves. The anal canal contains the internal anal sphincter, which is the involuntary smooth muscle at base of anal canal. Also the external anal sphincter, which is voluntary skeletal muscle. And you can see that we have moved out of the anal canal. To recap, this is where we started with our nice beautiful cherry, and this is what we finished with, feces, and that's where we ended. The end. You have learned the digestive system.